Huddersfield versus Chelsea, our first game of the 2018-19 Premier League campaign. A tricky game with a lot of questions as to who will start and as to how far we are into adapting to Maurizio Sarri's style of football. Plus, Batshuayi and Zouma joined Valencia and Everton on loan respectively. All of that plus much more, including Maurizio Sarri's comments in the pre-match press conference and my predicted lineup for tomorrow's game, you will hear and find out about if you watch all of this match preview. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea for my preview of the Huddersfield versus Chelsea game. My first preview of the 2018-19 Premier League season, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Of course, we will cover all of the Premier League games throughout the season, all of the Cup games, all of the Europa League games, and if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea if you haven't already, and also make sure you click that notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads. Of course, there will be a review of the game tomorrow, there will be fan cams, there will be a vlog the day after, there will be all sorts. Like I said, if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure you subscribe, and also let's see whether we can hit 800 or more likes on this video. That'd be absolutely amazing. And we're all looking forward to the Premier League season. Even though the start, in my opinion, will be tricky, I think we're all looking forward to it. So make sure you smash the like button down below. We'll massively appreciate it. But now getting into the preview and starting it off by speaking about our opposition, Huddersfield. So Huddersfield finished their promotion season from the Championship in 16th, 4 points off relegation, and actually had a good season as a lot of people expected them to be relegated last year, but they didn't, so fair play to them. Even though they did score the least amount of goals alongside Swansea with only 28 goals scored throughout the whole of the last year's Premier League season basically. They did actually make a fair few signings this summer, with the biggest one costing them around 20 million euros in Terence Kongolo, a 24-year-old centre-back from Monaco. But he wasn't the only Monaco player they acquired this summer, as they also signed a 22-year-old centre-forward Adama Diakabi, not quite sure on the pronunciation, for 10 million euros. They also made the goalkeeper Jonas Lössl a permanent deal after he was only on loan with them from Mainz last season. And also did they sign Dortmund left-back Eric Durm, who used to be a great prospect in Germany in that position, but loads of long-term injuries certainly disrupted his development and career path, so I'm not sure where he really is as a player these days. He also signed some other players that, none of us would really know about, so there's no point really mentioning it. But they did sign a few, good players, and also their manager Wagner is very happy with the the transfer dealings they made this summer, according to himself in the press conference. Speaking about Huddersfield in pre-season, and compared to our 4 real pre-season games with the Community Shield in between, Huddersfield played a full 9 pre-season friendlies in a 6-week preparation for the Premier League season, and they actually did very well, beating Lyon 3-1 3 weeks ago, beating RB Leipzig from Germany 3-0. To be fair, it was only a weekend side for the Germans, but still only a week ago they beat them 3-0, and that is more than fair play to them for that. Annoyingly, I couldn't find any information as to what lineups and formations especially Huddersfield used in any of their preseason games, so I'm struggling to predict what they're going to do and what they're going to go for tomorrow against us. But they certainly scored quite a lot of goals, especially in the last 3 games, the last 3 friendlies. They scored 11 goals, 3 in 2 of them and 2 in the other one. So, they're kind of finding their scoring boots, unlike us in pre-season. But obviously, that could be very different as soon as the Premier League starts, and we might start scoring and they might stop, basically. I mean, the Premier League starts this weekend, so there's little to say about every team, mostly, especially the smaller teams. That's basically it for Huddersfield. But now getting into Maurizio Sarri's first pre-match press conference of a Premier League game. And firstly, Sarri expressed his happiness with both of the signings that were made at the end of the transfer window in Kepa Arrizabalaga and Mateo Kovacic, of course, who joined us on loan from Real Madrid. Sarri said that Kepa is one of the best young keepers in the world, but of course he isn't Courtois yet, that's obvious. And also he said that Kovacic has the exact right characteristics for Chelsea, so Sarri is very happy and is of the opinion that now our squad is complete. Our new boss also said that Hazard is staying with us indefinitely. He spoke to him 3 or 4 times, and Hazard never mentioned anything about leaving or the market itself. And asked whether he is concerned that with the window still being open in other countries, that some huge offers could come in for the likes of Hazard and Willian. Sarri basically said that it's impossible for them to leave because we couldn't sign a replacement, so they're staying with us. On Hazard possibly signing a new contract, possibly a contract that he's had on the table for a good while, Sarri said that he doesn't want to speak about contracts because that's not his job. But since Hazard has returned from his holiday, Sarri has seen a player that is very, very happy to be here, so he doesn't see any problems with a new contract. Following that, Sarri was asked about the captain for the upcoming season, and the boss explained that Azpilicueta will be the captain tomorrow, but that's not the final decision, and he wants to get to know the players better and then make the decision on that. In my opinion, all Sarri did here is basically hint that Hazard will be the captain, but he won't start tomorrow, as obviously he's only been in training for, less than a week, 5 days basically. So it is Azpi who will be the captain tomorrow, and who will probably be the second captain this season, but from what Sarri said, I'm kind of getting the feeling that Hazard will be the main captain for the upcoming season. The boss also said that the squad is too large right now. Some players have to and will go out on loan, but he doesn't yet know who. Sarri said that he prefers to have 23 or 24 players, plus 3 or 4 very young players as well, no more than that. Asked whether Bakayoko might leave, Sarri said he doesn't know, that's a question for the club, as he's only focused on the game tomorrow. And at the end of the press conference, Sarri said that Kepa will be in the squad tomorrow, but he's yet to decide whether our new goalkeeper, our record-breaking goalkeeper, will start tomorrow or not. Sarri, by the way, again, answered every question in clear English and in an impressively confident and honest way, in all honesty. I really like the way he holds himself in these press conferences. Now, I know this isn't about the press conference, but just a little while ago, it was confirmed by both Chelsea and Valencia that Michy Batshuayi, will join them on loan for the upcoming season. And Valencia first confirmed it in a slightly cryptic tweet that was still very obvious, but then obviously Chelsea just made it official and said, good luck at Valencia this season, basically. And I mean, Valencia are in the Champions League after finishing 4th last season, so it's not exactly a bad loan. But I'm still not a big fan of it whatsoever. Morata, Giroud and Tammy Abraham, in my opinion, is not a good enough striker trio. I mean, Morata could surprise us all, or could be what we kind of hoped for when we signed him last summer. It could be, especially after 2 months of the season when things actually start to click under Sarri. But, still, I don't really see the point in having Olivier Giroud around, because I just don't see how he fits Sarri. But, Sarri made the decision. Well, I'm sure he had to make the decision that he doesn't really see Batshuayi as good enough to at least, be in contention to start at times. So that's why Batshuayi was, sent out on loan and Giroud is sticking around. But what loaning out Batshuayi does tell me is that Hazard could be used up front, similar to Dries Mertens at Napoli. I mean, we'll have to wait and see whether that will happen, especially once, Hazard gains full fitness after his holiday and stuff. But I think it could be an option because I feel like just having those 3 that I mentioned, Morata, Giroud and Tammy Abraham, isn't quite big enough, thick enough, good enough, if you will. So I think Hazard could be a valid option there for Sarri. I mean, one good thing that can come with Batshuayi's loan move to La Liga is that it's a more technical league than the Bundesliga, for example. And it might improve his first touch, his touch in general, and his technique overall. So he could be, could come back a much better player than he is right now. Because I really do hope to see Michy Batshuayi given a proper chance under Maurizio Sarri one day. Even though that is not looking all too likely right now because, if Maurizio Sarri saw all too much in him or saw more in him, he probably wouldn't, have gone out on loan right now. Because, Sarri must not have liked what he's seen in training in the last few days. I mean, he must not have done. I mean, I don't really find another explanation why Batshuayi would go out on loan, in all honesty. And as well as Batshuayi, it has also been confirmed that Zouma will spend the upcoming season at Everton on loan. A good move for the player, in my opinion. Hopefully, it can help him revive his career a little bit as well, because obviously at Stoke things didn't go so well. He's been, extremely hampered by the massive injury that he picked up, a few years ago now. But, he's not really been the same, so maybe a loan to a better club than Stoke in Everton, who certainly won't, get relegated because they've made a few good signings. They've got a good manager in. So, if he gets the opportunity to start there regularly, I think that could almost revive his career. And the last thing I'm going to mention about kind of transfer news kind of thing is also that Crystal Palace manager Roy Hodgson confirmed in his press conference that Chelsea blocked another loan move by Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Palace this season, which I think is very good. So, you all know that I want Ruben Loftus-Cheek to play a big role this season, obviously, if Sarri thinks that he is good enough, and if he is good enough, but I think that he is good enough, so I hope he gets quite a lot of game time this season, but we'll obviously have to wait and see. But now, let's speak about Chelsea, let's speak about our formation, our lineup for the game tomorrow, and what I expect of the game in general. I mean, it's not a secret that we'll start with a 4-3-3 formation, we all know that we will do that, but there are a few questions as to who will start in that 4-3-3. In some positions, it is definitely down to lack of fitness after only starting training a few days ago, but also I was sent a screenshot of an Instagram DM with Cesc Fabregas of Cesc explaining that he is injured, was injured before the Man City game, like I told you at the time, basically was asked to play, did play, says he shouldn't have played, and things got worse, but he hopes to, that his injury won't keep him out for too long. You'll obviously see the screenshot on the screen right now. Obviously, these things always could be hampered, and I don't know who, shared those messages with him. I wouldn't 100% vouch for this, this screenshot to be the total honest truth, but it probably is. So Fabregas definitely seems to be out for tomorrow's game. Interested that none of the journalists asked about team news during the press conference, actually. But let's get into the lineup, and first I'll tell you the lineup that I myself would go for tomorrow. So of course I would go with the 4-3-3. I would go with our new goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, a back four of Cesar Azpilicueta at right back and Emerson Palmieri at left back. Alonso, in my opinion, is way too slow to be a left back, and even if Emerson does have his deficits or faults, he's also not played more than 5 games in the last 15 months. So I think, especially the more he plays, the better he could be. But again, it's down to Sarri. If Sarri sees Emerson in training and he thinks he doesn't like it, fair play. I'm not there in training, am I? But I feel like Emerson would suit Sarri's system much better than Alonso would. For the centre-back 2, I would go for Antonio Rudiger and David Luiz. Or if not Luiz, then Ampadu over Christensen in my opinion, judging from pre-season. But I think Luiz deserves it. Even though I know that he didn't play all too well against Manchester City, but I explained it at the time. I think that was more down to the system not clicking with the whole team. It's about defending as a unity, as a team, and not about defending as individuals. In midfield, I would go for, of course, Jorginho and N'Golo Kanté. But then as the third, midfielder in that midfield 3, I would go for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I don't think Ross Barkley has been that impressive in pre-season. He's looked fit, he's looked strong, but there wasn't really much to it. There was no end product. There was no, there wasn't just enough pace and quick thinking in it. And he loses the ball way too easily, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek doesn't do exactly that. Ruben Loftus-Cheek barely ever loses the ball. Yes, he's not quick enough for Sarri's system just yet, but also he's had less training under Sarri, than Barkley had. Obviously, with Barkley not being in the World Cup and Ruben Loftus-Cheek being there, and also Loftus-Cheek is 2 years younger. So if Loftus-Cheek is pretty much on the same level as Barkley right now, at least in my opinion, he's 2 years younger, he has more potential, more ability in my opinion. I think that's why he should start over him. Then in front 3, I would go for Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left and Pedro on the right, with Alvaro Morata starting up front. Callum Hudson-Odoi, in my opinion, simply deserves to start after such an impressive pre-season, and I'd go with Pedro over Willian for this one, as I don't think Willian is quite fit enough yet. But now coming to the lineup that I think Maurizio Sarri will go for tomorrow, and it's this. Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. I think he will go with the new goalkeeper. I don't think he'll go with Willy Caballero. A back 4 of Zeta Piliqueta and Marcos Alonso as 2 fullbacks. Antonio Rudiger and David Luiz as the 2 centre-backs. A midfield 3 of Jorginho, Kanté and Ross Barkley, rather than obviously me picking Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And then a front 3 of Willian on the left, Pedro on the right and Alvaro Morata starting up front. Although there is a chance that, Sarri will start Callum Hudson-Odoi, I just think Willian starting is that good bit more likely. Now speaking about the game, and I don't think that we will have made a huge step since the Man City game. Even though we've had a week's training since basically, and obviously most of the players that will feature tomorrow got at least a few minutes against Lyon on Tuesday. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the first 1, probably 2 months of this season will be tricky. And in all honesty, I'm not hugely confident ahead of tomorrow's game. Like I said, because I don't think we would have made such a huge step since the City game. Because, changing a system that drastically takes time, and it won't just happen from one night to the other. Also, Huddersfield had a good pre-season, a much longer pre-season than we did, so fitness-wise, they will probably also be a good bit better than ourselves. And overall though, it is quite tricky to judge Huddersfield as an opponent for where we are as a team right now, because against Inter and against Arsenal, we did look very good in a lot of moments, and both Arsenal and Inter are definitely better teams than Huddersfield are, but those games were friendlies, and tomorrow's game against Huddersfield is in the Premier League, and that's different, and it's very different. So like I said in our transfer deadline day stream yesterday already, if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. I think the game's going to finish in a 1-1 draw in all honesty. But I do want to urge you guys not to get depressed or angry, a kick-off, like even if Morata doesn't do well, or, there's no point kicking off right now. We are stuck with this now. We have to trust in Sarri and the players and the team to get things right within the next 2 or 3 months, if you will. And in my opinion, they will. I'm hugely confident that we will get things right and that we will enjoy a very good season. Not a Premier League winning season, but I am very confident that we will enjoy a very good season. It is a process. It is a process. And like Alex Goldberg on Twitter said, changing from a station wagon to a Ferrari takes time. And he's right. What Sarri is trying to turn us into is basically a Ferrari compared to what we've been over the last multiple years, in all honesty. But yeah, that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. What would be your, lineup that you would pick? And also, which lineup do you think Maurizio Sarri will pick? Let's see whether we can hit 800 or more likes in this video. Like I said in the beginning, that'd be absolutely class. Also, don't forget to check out my social media, which is last1507 on both Instagram and Twitter. As you can see over here, and also the links to both of them are down in the description. So if you could follow me there, that'd be absolute class. And of course, this is YouTube. We have to say it. If you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. Very much looking forward to the game tomorrow. And I'll see you next time.